Well, look at this. British actor Billie Piper stars as journalist Sam McAllister in new biographical drama Film Scoop, coming to Netflix this Friday, April the 5th. And she's with us now. How are you?
I'm good.
Well, what a lot of fuss this is causing, isn't it? Did you anticipate it to have so much demand from the world? You're off to America in a minute, aren't you?
Yeah,
Talk about it.
I am, for 5 days. New York on my own.
All right. So obviously the original interview, the Newsnight interview.
Yeah.
Actually, can you just frame it for us? What goes on?
Yeah. So I guess this story is about the unsung heroes behind the infamous Prince Andrew Newsnight story. So it's about how that interview found its way to our screens and the level of work that went into clinching it. And I play Sam McAllister, who's the booker on Newsnight, and she is unlike anyone I've ever met. You would love her. She's amazing. She's formidable. She's this force of nature. I don't think I've ever met anyone like her. She's like a living example of someone who can get stuff done with warmth and kindness and good nature. That's why I think you'd like her.
She's so vulnerable and brilliant at the same time.
Yeah.
And her vulnerability is her superpower.
Yeah.
And she works on Newsnight as a sort of booker producer. So what's a booker? For people who don't know, what is a booker?
I guess it's the person who suggests famous names or celebrities or high profile people and then goes about trying to get them on the show.
Yeah, and on Newsnight that's a double-edged sword, because obviously she has one foot in the popularity or populism camp, and then she has to have another foot in the news camp.
Yeah.
And sort of shows like Newsnight, they want their cake and be able to eat it at the same time, but they need to do the showbiz stuff to say, not showbiz stuff, but they need to do the more popular stuff to say in vogue and get an audience, but they still have to have the news or the news agenda foundations underneath it. And she understood that, but they didn't really get the fact that she understood it. Is that about right, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's why Prince Andrew is a perfect person for that show, because he is, a royal, a person of huge profile, and someone who has to be held accountable for his behaviour. So he kind of covers all those things. So that's the ideal sort of booking. Otherwise, it's like, people in cultured stuff, but also with a political agenda. So it's a really hard job, and it's made so much harder, sort of ping-ponging between those two huge British institutions.
Yeah.
There's red lines everywhere.
And she says, your character says, you playing this real life lady says in your this drama is unbelievable. We'll get onto how good it is in a moment or two. By the way, if you don't know already, because we're pre-recording this interview before the weekend, this is being broadcast today on Tuesday, April the 2nd. But there will have been so much now that you may already have read about this and seen in the newspapers. But during it all, Sam permanently thinks she's going to get fired, doesn't she? Yeah. And she says it in the drama. Your character says, I spend half my life thinking I'm going to get fired, worrying to death, worrying myself sick I'm going to get fired, and then the other half wishing they just get it over and done with because I can't stand it anymore.
Who hasn't felt like that?
Yeah, welcome to show business.
I know. Come on, Sam. That's it. That's it. That's where we are.
And so, and she said, obviously she does exist. She did exist. She does exist. She's since left the BBC. She works for the London School of Economics now.
She does, and she goes around doing TED Talks. And I mean, to be honest, I think she'll be doing a lot more.
A lot more.
I mean,
now.
This is her day in the sun, and she has such an iconic energy that I think she's probably going to become a huge star.
Yeah, I mean, America will
they'll
eat
love
her up.
her. She's coming with me to New York.
All right, okay, so this is, I mean, it couldn't be any more exciting from a professional point of view as far as you guys are concerned. So we know who Prince Andrew is, and Rufus Sewell plays Prince Andrew. I know Rufus. I've been out with Rufus.
Have you?
Yeah, lots.
What's he like and in a social context?
As you might imagine, right? I could tell from the expression on your face you are imagining the right thing. And but I didn't know it was him.
Well, No, it's so good.
It's unbelievable.
It's so good.
I didn't know he was playing Prince Andrew, and then until about halfway, I think it's Rufus Sewell, because I purposely don't look who's in. I know you're in it. And then Keeley Hawes, obviously very recognisable as Prince Andrew's private secretary.
Yeah.
So we don't know what she looks like, but you sort of get a vibe of how she might be, that particular person, having met those kind of people. And again, she's a real person, really exists. Yeah. And then Gillian Anderson's Emily Maitlis. Now, I don't know Emily, but I've met her a few times. You know, I've been at various literature festivals with her. I mean, come on.
She's amazing.
Oh, unbelievable.
She's amazing.
Tell us about Gillian Anderson and Emily Maitlis.
Well, I mean, what's so weird is I don't think they spent any time together before this happened. But obviously there's so much material out there for her to do a sort of deep dive on. And she's just that actor now, isn't she? Just does that so well. It's not impersonations, but it's
a representation.
Yeah, of real people. I think she found this one more stressful because Emily's alive, and she's doing her own version of this story, and she didn't have the access to her that I had to Sam. But my God, I watched them do that interview from beginning to end 3 times. It was like watching a play. They were amazing, and they didn't rehearse.
So Sam, your character, is the one that we don't know, and therefore, you know, how does that play in between Rufus's Prince Andrew and Gillian's Emily Maitlis? Yeah, your character is the main character of the show. There's no question about it. It becomes more of a two-hander between you and Gillian as the drama develops. It's an hour and 40 minutes long. You cannot take your eyes off it. It's so tense. And also we know what's going to happen.
I know.
So how do you do that?
I don't know, and it's testament to Philip, our director, because that was my biggest concern about coming on board with this, which was why, if everyone knows the outcome, where are the stakes, where's the drama, where's the conflict? And then I read the script and I was like, oh, that's great. And then I saw it for the first time and I thought, he's coasted that line so beautifully, of being so invested in something that you know is about to happen. But I suppose you're following real people, and that's what keeps you connected to the journey, to that interview. There's like an emotional which you wouldn't otherwise have, I suppose. You just have the interview. And I suppose there's something about the sort of sisterhood of them all, even though their relationships are quite sticky, you know, then it's not smooth sailing, and that journalistic world is so dog.
But sticky doesn't mean bad, does it?
Sticky doesn't mean bad. Sticky is sticky. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Everyone has that in a dynamic at work.
It's individuals at their strongest as far as their own character's concerned.
Exactly, and they had to work together to get that interview done.
Yeah, I mean, apparently it wasn't all plain sailing for Lennon and McCartney, from what I read. You know what I mean?
I do. I've seen it. I've read it.
And so I know that I think one of the fascinating things about it is, and the reason it is tense, is because it's the story behind the story.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the story. How did this interview come to be on Newsnight? Because we all, you know, in a way, because we're there during the fact and after the fact. Yeah, of course, Prince Andrew's going to give his one and only interview to Newsnight. No, of course he's not necessarily. How do you swing that? These things don't just happen. Does he give an interview at all? Why would he do that? Yeah. What does he think he's doing? How does it metamorphosize enough from a sort of, if you like, take a break kind of whatever story to a news story? Yeah. There's a pivotal moment. We won't say. I don't want to ruin it for people. When it's the FBI moment at the and then it's like within a second it flips, and this is the biggest news story in the world. And because Sam has been working on it for so long, saying this is the interview we need, she's got a head start on everybody else trying to get this interview. Tell us about the scene where she goes and knocks on Prince Andrew's private secretary's door.
Oh yeah, that's a great moment where Amanda Thirsk has been resisting doing the interview with Newsnight, even though her agenda is to change the perception of Prince Andrew, because what's happened is she's become slightly, as is true, enmeshed with the person that she's spending every day of her life with. She sees something quite different and she wants the world to experience what she's experiencing, but she's pushing back, and then, you know, the news comes through that Epstein's about to be arrested, and Prince Andrew is, part of that story. And so she goes to her house, knocks on the door, and says, "You've got to do this." And I think she says, an hour of television can change everything.
It's like magic.
It's like magic.
And that's you saying that. Is it you saying it as her? Wow. And where does she come from, Sam? How did she get to this job on Newsnight?
This is where we're quite alike. She's from a working class family. Her parents were market stall guys. I can't remember what they sold, but they had the art of negotiation and haggle, and that's where she learnt that from. Very savvy, very bright. And then did the things that everyone thought were impossible. Went to I think she went to Edinburgh and studied law, became a criminal barrister. So she has that art of negotiation down. She has that amazing poker face, so it's kind of unreadable and yet really warm as well, which doesn't really make sense. And she's the reason he said yes, because she's so likable and so persuasive and also so transparent. Like she's very clear about what they're doing from the get-go. It doesn't feel snaky or shady, And it's not a gotcha. It's not. It just turns out that he did that interview. That was what was coming out of his mouth, which was the thing that...
But it was never a setup. It was never a hatchet job, ever.
No.
It turned out as it turned out, but the questions were asked and the space was given, which is all that was requested and all that was promised from Newsnight to the Palace and all that the Palace expected from Newsnight.
Yeah, but they were clear about their intentions.
And following the meeting of Sam going to see Prince Andrew's private secretary, there is another meeting with the Prince himself at Buckingham Palace, which Sam is also... I mean, she doesn't take the lead, but she ends up having the lead in that particular... It's a pitch, isn't it? It's a pitch to him.
Yeah.
And did that happen?
Yeah, that happened. And what was amazing was in the pre-interview which you don't see that in the film. But the chat... part of the chat that they had before the live interview, he was giving those sort of answers about Pizza Express, not sweaty, all the stuff that everybody was like, what? And they were like, okay, well, this is gold, but he's probably not going to say that on the day. And he said it all on the day. It's kind of amazing.
And the rehearsal, Emily's rehearsal, for the interview,
that's real.
So we see that side of things, and then we see the mirror image of what he might be doing as far as rehearsal is concerned.
Yeah.
We know that Emily rehearsed for the interview with all the questions, changing the questions, framing different questions, different rhythm to the interview, maybe moving questions around to do with where the interview might go, might not go. Do we know that he rehearsed?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, everything in that film is factual, I think.
No, it says at the beginning, based on real events, but some things have been added for dramatic effect.
Yeah, but I don't think those things could be disingenuous.
All right, and where was your Buckingham Palace then?
Oh, yeah. In one of those, like, industrial studios on the M4.
I knew you were going to say that. It's so disappointing, isn't it? Well, how would you do the shots where you're driving through the gates? I mean, that is Buckingham...
CGI.
What?
CGI.
Really?
Yeah. Was it good?
Of course you can't tell. Have you seen it on the big screen?
I know, but
I mean, I've been there.
I think because I know you've been there.
Yeah.
I've never been. I'll probably never go now.
Yeah. There's a whole...
I think my MBE is out the window, or OB or whatever.
There's a whole dish of discussion there that we could go to. Have the BBC been reticent to engage with PR around this?
I think they've been pretty good.
Have they?
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought there was a bit of pushback.
Maybe in some places, but also access in other places.
All right, so the world is already going mad for the story about the story of the interview.
Yeah.
And the story about the story being you guys doing press.
Yeah.
And what kind of requests have you had? How big do you think it's going to be? We've now had the premiere, which we'll talk about in a second or two, and we've had the initial response from the critics, etc. Just speak to that if you don't mind.
Sorry, what I feel about it?
No. So what is? Can you sense a clamour around this?
Yeah, I can a bit, and it's really exciting. I think people are so interested in it, in the royals. And it's got the sort of best platform for that, really, in Netflix.
How was the premiere?
It was really, really fun. It was great. And actually, I saw it for the first time with an audience, which I've never done before. I'm just way too controlling for that. It was so liberating. I loved it. I really, really loved it. It was a good night.
Because it is a feature film.
It is, yeah.
And so it was a big red carpet thing. Everybody was there. What was your sense of the response of the audience from the opening frame to the closing credits? And can you tell us, was there an emotional journey for you? Could you sense this sort of empathetic oxytocin filling the room?
Yeah. I thought it was amazing that you could go from kind of laughing hysterically at how surreal and absurd his behaviour is, to them being engaged immediately, literally 3 seconds later, with the pain and the sadness of the victims. And that's a really hard line to coast. So it's like, it's funny, but it's not gross or insensitive. It's kind of doing a bit of everything. So I really felt a big sort of motion throughout the cinema. Everyone seemed to be moving in the right direction, and it was very moving towards the end, and I definitely got a sense of that. People really, really positive broadly, but we'll see.
And what happened afterwards, after the movie?
We went for a few drinks.
Did you exchange conversations and opinions and people's?
Yeah.
Or were you with the crew, with the cast?
We were just talking about how happy we were with the outcome, and I really wanted to speak to the makeup department, because I think it's so hard to get that stuff right, and if you don't get it right, it can ruin a film. Imagine if that Prince Andrew get-up was just useless, it'd be over. So it was amazing to talk to them and just congratulate them on their hard work, because it was a big body of work, that.
Yeah, 100%. And so you go to America.
Yeah.
Does America have a different flavour of narrative with this subject?
That's a good question. I don't know yet. I should probably start thinking about that.
What are you being told?
I don't know which way in we're going to go with it. I guess I have to consult with the Americans.
Wow. Great hair, like you're saying.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, it's the best hair.
Which hair? This hair?
No, you, Bill, today you have great hair. I'm referring back to your dramatic production that we're here to...
Great hair or grey hair?
Great hair.
Great and great. Yeah, well...
is that what Sam looks like?
Yeah, she looks identical to that.
Wow.
She wears the same outfit every single day, like a uniform, and she's really uncompromising on her look. That's her thing, and why should she be? And to fit in, the BBC or whatever. But she is, she is that. That's what she looks like every single day. And she come to set dressed like that. I was going to say dressed like me, but I was dressed like her. And yet people would get confused. So
Buckingham Palace for CGI. You were quite close to the BBC at times.
We were very much outside the BBC.
Okay, was that guerrilla filming, or did you get permission and things like that?
We got permission.
So the BBC gave you permission to make
So to be fair to the BBC, they gave us permission.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
And did you got to go?
I think it's a bit. The film is a big love-in for Newsnight and journalism at the BBC.
Without question.
Yeah.
And what about the producer, the main female producer of Newsnight at the time? So what does she do? Because Emily left, Sam left.
They all left.
Right, interesting. Do you want to talk about that? What do you know about that? That you want to talk about?
Well, I think they all just, they're became. I don't know, actually. I don't really know the truth of that, so I can't speak to it without making something up. But I guess they wanted to go on to new work. Pastures, new or green?
New and green. Newer, greener fields of pasture land.
Pasture.
Yes. But it is interesting, isn't it? Because it became the most watched episode of Newsnight ever. Obviously, one would say now.
Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it. I didn't see it then.
Yeah, but you've seen it since.
Seen it since, yeah. I didn't see it then, didn't see it around the time.
What did you think?
Well, what everybody else thought.
Why?
But seeing it back again, it feels like, because your film is 1 hour 40 minutes long, and it doesn't show all of the interview. But coming away from the film, I feel like I've seen all the interview.
Thing.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's clever as well.
Yeah, they took 10 minutes from what was a 50-minute interview, and I guess used the punchier lines from him.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it was all pretty punchy.
Yeah. And so awkward.
So awkward. And also just that he felt that it had gone well. They all felt like it had gone well, and there's such a question mark over that for me. Like,
how could you
how did
that?
this get signed off?
Is the bit where he says at the end of the interview to Emily, well, Emily, I think that went rather well. Would you like a tour? Is that all true?
That's all true.
And he not only said it to Emily Maitlis, he said, who else would like a tour?
I know.
This is like immediately after the interview.
I know. I think that went rather well, don't you? Anyone want a tour? Okay. It's so funny, that bit. It's so funny. It's funny because it's awful, but it's great. Watch it.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say really about.
Is there
anything I've missed out that the people have talked about?
I don't think so.
Is there any more fun stuff? I mean, because because it's a great crew. You're also good at your craft. Can I just say that clearly the production, the script, the direction, the production, the location booking, the hair and makeup, it's all 10 out of 10, isn't it? It's all, it has to be for this kind of thing.
I think so.
And then your ensemble, because it is, you are the main character, you're in it most. Gillian's probably a close second as Emily. Rufus does that thing that Michael Crawford did in Phantom of the Opera. He's hardly in it on the watch, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's ever present, obviously, which is really clever as well.
You're clever and annoying.
Keely's brilliant.
She's always brilliant. She's so lovely as well.
And it is just off the chain as an ensemble piece.
But what was so funny is there aren't really any like crazy tales from set, because the filming of it was actually, it just felt very British.
So when you texted me and you said, can I talk to you about the BBC? Because I think I'm doing something to do with it. And I thought you were in W1A or something. I thought, little did I know.
Yeah.
And this is what you're trying to find out what it's like. By the way, I'm only guessing here, what it's like for a maverick to work at the BBC, because she very much is. I know that's probably a hackneyed phrase, but that's all I can think of at the moment. But she very much was.
No, I think that's a really good phrase.
And it's it's often the mavericks that help big old heavy overweight establishments like the BBC to remain relevant.
Yeah, totally. And she's all about that. And also she doesn't care about taking a meeting with the Daily Mail, or she's not a snob, you know what I mean? She understands the value of being available to all of it.
Yeah.
That's what's going to generate the best work.
Yeah, meet anybody where they need to be met in order to get the job done.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Did she have any other scoops? Or is it
there's a whole book. You should read the book. There's loads of stuff on there. It's really
So
revealing.
what else did she land?
What else did she land? God, I can't remember.
I mean, they all pale, I suppose, no matter how big they are compared to this story.
She did Emma Thompson, didn't she? She did. I can't remember the list. There's loads of them.
All right. Have you become friends?
Yeah. Because it's good to be around people like that.
Yeah.
She's so positive. She's so energized that it's a good choice to be around people like that.
Yeah.
And she's in awe of everything, which is such a nice thing to watch. It's like, yes, of course you find this amazing. We're a bit long in the tooth, but she's like, this is great.
What? Because the movie?
Because it's a movie about her life, and she's finally getting seen, and she had been unsung, and she deserves to be very, very much public facing. She's almost the perfect person to be famous. She could handle it.
Do you think she would like a sort of Oprah character? Could she host, do you think, or something like that?
I said to her, you should be interviewing people, because you would get some great stuff out of people, because she's so nice. It's a really, really good skill.
And does she really drink vodka martinis?
She loves martinis. I hadn't had a martini until I met her.
Is that with a twist, or how do they say?
She has them dirty.
Dirty, that's with the olives in.
With the olive, yeah. It's like petrol.
What life skills have you learned from her?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And she from you?
I don't know what she's learned from me, if anything, but I feel like from her, I don't know. She's just a constant reminder to be yourself. She's a constant reminder to be open, warm, loving, grateful, and she's joy. So I guess it just rubs off.
So she's a booker for the Newsnight with a journalistic, not bent, but with a flavour of journalism in her.
Yeah, definitely. She feels like a journalist to me.
A truth teller?
Yeah.
Truth seeker?
Both.
Educator, teacher?
Is this a rap?
What you mean, like, is it the end?
No, I mean, are you rapping?
No, I know what you mean. I think it is a rap, actually.
I think it is a rap.
Yeah. That's it. What else can we talk about? What else are you doing? What else you got in the pipeline? Come on, you old slacker. Tell me about... What's this whisper I've heard about something called chaos?
I can't talk a great deal about it because it's
that's why it's a whisper.
So yeah, there is a production being made featuring Jeff Goldblum, and I'm in it as well, and it's based on Greek mythology, and that's probably all I can say.
That was a bit disappointing.
Why?
It was all right. It promised so much, but delivered so little.
Well, there's nothing I can't say.
Is it a series?
It's a series. It's a series. It's a series. It's dark. It's loud. It's vibrant. It's dramatic because it's Greek mythology, so there's a wealth of stuff there.
Contemporary.
It's a sort of 90s take.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of 90s references.
All right.
My favourite era.
Based where?
Well, it's different worlds because it's like the underworld and all of that.
90s parallel universes. Awesome.
We actually filmed in Italy, Spain, Europe. And
people said to me, because I said the reason we're pre-recording the interview is because you're going to go to America and do loads of press for this amazing feature Scoop out this Friday, 5th of April on Netflix. And they said, but surely Billie's done press in the US before. Have you?
I've done a bit, but I haven't done as much as I'm about to do.
What are you booked on all the big shows?
Those morning shows.
Which ones?
I can't remember what
Are you on The View?
No, annoyingly, I'm not on The View. I'd love to be on The View.
You're on Good Morning America?
It's something like that,
Any late nights?
No, it's
not yet, though. No, but it could happen. It could happen, couldn't it? In between now and you getting there.
Well, let's hope so.
These things tend to have a momentum. You've Comic-Con'd in the States.
Yeah, not on the numbers.
Which is not. It's not the same.
No, it's not the same. No, it's not the same at all.
Because of Doctor Who, people know who you are.
Yeah, it's such a strong following out there.
And still. And other shows that have travelled well that you've been in.
Are you asking me what they are?
Yeah.
I think I Hate Susie had a niche crowd out there, which was quite cool.
Yeah, no, really cool crowd as well.
Yeah, really
a bit
cool
with
crowd.
Nail and IE, actually.
It's definitely got that sort of subculture.
No, but everybody in the industry watched it.
Yeah, industry people love it, I guess, because it's largely about the industry.
Which is important.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's critical acclaim. It's just it wasn't seen by as many people as we had hoped. But that's the way it goes sometimes.
Seen by the J-Dog.
J-Dog?
Yeah, it was seen by the J-Dog.
Who's the J-Dog?
Judd Apatow.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
How's that going? Do we not talk about that?
No.
I'll cut it out. It's out.
It was seen by George Clooney.
Oh! The G-Dog.
The G-Dog. Yeah.
How do you know that?
Because he commented on it. On one of the radio shows. He said my name.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, he lives around the corner, doesn't he?
From who?
Just everybody around the Thames.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he lives he lives very close to Heathrow Airport.
Do you know that as a
100%.
He lives close to Heathrow.
Yeah, I don't know why. You think he could afford somewhere else, not under the flight path. No, he does. He lives right under the flight path of Heathrow Airport. I don't know, maybe it comforts him, helps him get to sleep, the sound of the planes. I don't know.
Well, he travels a lot, probably.
Yeah. All right, I think we're done. We're running out of steam. I am anyway. I've been up since 4. Anything else? Come on.
No, nothing else.
Stage.
Screen. The stage. No, not working on the stage.
No more Yermas.
No more Yermas.
Oh, how good was Yerma? Best ever.
Yeah.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
You're the best.
Thank you. Thanks.
You're the best.